Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the LCK, and we just got done with the first game of APK up against KT, and if you're not paying attention, maybe you tuned into the beginning of round one, and you saw APK's performance, and you said, not very impressed. But nowadays, they are a totally different team. They're able to flip it on its heads against KT, who honestly didn't have the best game, but still a force to be reckoned with, that is for sure. So an impressive victory already for APK, and we'll have to see if they can close out the series.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if they can manage to bring it home in this game, as honestly, they had the better draft in game number one. They made it to the mid to late game transition where it would really come online, but even before that, they managed to capitalize on teamfight errors that KT was making, being a little bit reckless. Fortunately for them as well, it was Cloud Dragons that were spawning. They ended up getting it in the end anyway, but it could have been a dicey road, as player of the game Hybrid is going to get it on 80 carry. Kaisa, he is now at 600 MVP points.
Yeah. And he absolutely deserved it here in this game. There was one big mistake that was unfortunate, but other than that, very clean Kaisa play all around.
Yeah. Overall, lots of damage coming out by him. Really set up for success in the later stages. Was a little bit greedy by not getting a QSS relative to how the game was going. It gave KT some outs for a little bit longer than they should have had available. In the end, it ended up not mattering, as the base still did fall. And now, APK coming into game number two, they're going to be on red side. You have to imagine that they're probably going to find themselves with yet another draft advantage, as it was a almost unanimous decision. 8 out of 9, Valdez here.
What?
Voting for Secret as the player.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good try, but no, it was 9 out of 9. All 9 of us did vote for Hybrid in this game, although, yeah, we'll have to wait and see if he can pick up another one in game number 2. As I mean, he is. It was on the CG actually, the graphic that we did have on the game. He is kind of like the final boss, the best of the best when it does come to many different stats here in the LCK, and definitely is. Hold that thought. I think my kitten is actually trying to eat my wire right now.
Oh, all right.
I'll throw it over to you, LS, for just a moment.
Yeah, not a big deal. So coming in here to game number 2, KT probably can't be feeling super good about that game number 1. Now, the draft edge, or the draft discrepancy, was pretty gross. Once the game would start hitting mid to late transition. So if Olaf and friends didn't manage to get far enough ahead, they would obviously always be climbing an uphill battle. So in this game, one would hope that it can be a little bit closer this time around. Not to say that KT didn't have potential edges in the early stages, as we head into the draft. Not really sure when Valdez will... Oh,
I'm
hello.
back. I have returned.
Okay.
Yeah. She loves to be around people. She's 3 months old, and unfortunately, in this moment in time, we can't have the kittens gnawing away at the back of the computer wires and disconnecting me from the cast or anything like that. So I had to throw her out of the room. Unfortunately, I'm sure she'll be very sad, but it's okay. Maybe we'll get a Yumi in this game, as we almost had it in the last game. But did not quite pan out for KT versus APK.
Well, Aphelios was banned away by APK. KT respecting the Alawi, also even banning away the Aurelia. Varus now biting the dust as well. APK have to decide on what their last ban is going to be. They could just continue on with 80 carry pinch, but probably going to be Kalista, I would assume. No reason to really give it over. No They are looking to play with fire.
I took a look at the collective, and they're all freaking out about throwing my kitten out of the room. I didn't actually throw her. I placed her nice and safely on the couch, gave her a couple of pats, and then I closed the door. So don't worry, guys. Not throwing any animals. We're all very loving of our pets, of course. As Kalista is going to be the first pick here. So it was banned in game number 1, but this time around KT say, well, it's not banned this time. Let's take it away.
Well, it's already off to a really good start for KT. APK now locking in the Trundle. Trundle is quite good against the Kalista in the later stages. They're also going to take away the Taric, as that is traditionally the bread and butter combo for the Kalista down in bot lane, but this doesn't mean that Kalista can't just go up into top lane or mid lane. She certainly can. Okay, KT is... They are being baptized in hell right now, Valdez.
You know, it's very tempting to live a life of sin. And KT, they just, they couldn't help themselves. They had to go and pick away that Elise. Really trying to get the ball rolling in the very early stages of the game. They're hovering at Janna. I don't think that's going to be the pick. Thresh, another very common duo for the Kalista in the bottom side, will be selected here for Tucson.
Thresh Kalista is one of the most historic bottom lane combos. APK now hovering the Galio, now going back to hovering an Ezreal, which is very peculiar. Ezreal and Taric against the Kalista Thresh, not the kind of matchup I was expecting to see down there in bot lane, but as we move into the second ban phase now, they'll probably ban away Elise bread and butter combos, maybe Renekton and Pantheon will end up biting the dust. KT, it's probably hard for them to actually imagine what could be going on here. Zilean is really good against KT's current team composition, and they are targeting the LeBlanc. So 2 of Cover's champions have been removed. It might be time to confide in Annie.
We haven't seen Annie in years. Bring her back.
When is the last time we saw her in LCK?
I don't even know if she was played last year at all. You were right about the Pantheon, by the way. I was thinking maybe Aatrox, because Sohan does love his Aatrox, but they just wanted to take down bread and butter combos like you were talking about with that Elise and really reduce her power as much as possible.
The thing is that Aatrox, if he would end up getting banned away, APK, they don't mind Aatrox. In fact, I would wager that they would enjoy if he does get picked, because with the Trundle and the Taric, as well as just the repositioning on the Ezreal, you sort of completely fine if Aatrox ends up coming in. And I mean, hell, if you're going to have an Ornn to boot, then you are certainly happy with how everything is going to end up going. Okay, GP being hovered. This would mean that they're going to put all their eggs... Okay, never mind. We can't have nice things.
Hey, we've seen a lot of B4 hovers that eventually get picked B5. So don't lose hope yet. They are going to go for the Azir, though, which means that maybe they want to go for some kind of a front line. But instead, we do see another hover onto the GP. And...
Oh?
Could it be? Or is it just the troll? We've had a lot of troll hovers. And yeah, we are coming back into the GP. It will actually be picked up here against the Ornn.
And Echo immediately locked in. He was so sure about what he was picking. Now, one of the interesting things here is that APK has a lot of magic damage. Like, a lot of magic damage. They have Subjugate on the Trundle. You have the Echo dealing so much himself. Orin obviously need not an introduction on it. Taric, Ezreal even dealing quite a bit of it. So magic resist on the side of KT is going to be really valuable. The problem for me, all right, Valdez, is that they have a bit of mono red champions paired with pure blue control-y champions. And the GP and Azir are just left looking at the rest of the champions on the team composition and thinking, why are you here with me? As they're all trying to achieve very different things. Elise also has no gank setup for any of these lanes except for bottom. Now, perhaps the thought process is that Azir is going to maintain permanent mid priority and Elise will just try to camp down in bot lane. But the longer that the game goes, the less cohesion the team comp has, and thus it loses its legs to stand on. So APK, yet again, with another overall draft win, with honestly a lot more tools in their toolbox.
Yeah, won't be the first time either. I'm curious to see how they do pull this off, obviously. Echo and Ezreal as a duo of carries up against the Kalista that was banned in game number 1. And the Azir as cover, he moves away from the LeBlanc. That wouldn't have been half bad if it were available with that Elise. And goes on to the Azir. And yeah, we've seen a lot of Elises in games exactly like this, where they have no gank setup, or even if they do, they fail their ganks and it doesn't work out. And they just kind of, I don't know, they like decay through the mid game, and then eventually the late game comes and it's like, well, if I miss my cocoon, I guess I'm just going to sit here and try to do burst damage against somebody who has a lot of magic resist anyway. And we've seen a lot of Elises in that kind of situation not really pan out, whereas some Elises that do have gank assists, that have the ability to dive top turrets and mid turrets, they have seen some success in the LCK by getting their lanes very far ahead, and then even if they are with some, scaling champions, at least they're able to get their team ahead to put their team in a better place, and they kind of take the hit from the jungle in terms of the composition because of what she can bring in terms of gank potential. But as you mentioned, it's going to be rough in this game. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Bono to do work where potentially he can't.
Yeah, so we're going to have to pay attention to what he can do early on. He's solo starting his blue. Now, Elise might do a 4-camp into looking bottom. We'll have to see how Aiming and Tushin are going to elect to play this. Nimbus Cloak and Gathering Storm down there on Aiming. So willing to go the distance. No sort of sin going on here. Demolish on both of the supports. Okay, a really good stun by Secret. Trundle, red buff into blue buff, it seems like, almost immediately. Elise has finished her blue onto the Gromp, gonna do the wolves, and then probably transition immediately to the red. And what ends up happening from there, she doesn't do her golem camp, she doesn't do her raptor camp either. She looks for any sort of a gank possibility, tries to locate Trundle, and then she tries to transition into doing the Scuttle Crabs. The problem is that Trundle already completed with his 3 camps. Now, Trundle has a bit of a different option. He can go into Wolves and then make his way to the left-hand side of the map, thus ending up on different sides of the jungle. And Bono is apparently just full of sin right now. He's skipping his red buff.
And
I have no idea. He's spotted, and this gives Flawless the ability to come in for...
Oh, well, he's just going to show himself here and say, get the hell away from my lane. Making it pretty obvious as the pillar is going to come down. Bono is going to have to flash that wall. There was no way to repel over or get out of there with just abilities, so kind of unfortunate as Bono is still here trying to make room for him to go for this Scuttle Crab.
And you can see that Flawless is taking it very safe. Now, he is up a camp because he did eat the wolves. So even though he lost the Scuttle Crab, it's not the end of the world. Interesting, Azir has Prio in mid, and so does Gangplank in top lane. A bit of a lost opportunity that Bono didn't just stay in spider form, run across mid lane to the other side, and get the left-hand side Scuttle Crab. Because by the time you get the left-hand side Scuttle Crab, your Gromp is almost back up. And then that Gromp is a higher level because it's the camp that ends up being respawned. And then your Gangplank Azir can end up resetting. You don't have an obligation to gank for them. And Bono can keep actually power farming. Trundle would then waste his time running to the left-hand side, be delayed to getting to his other camps, and you could get a lead that way. Except we can't have nice things here about this. We're gonna do red buff into golems into look bot and pray that the opponents make a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how they would set this up. They're going to have to go for a hook into it, and it failed. So they just get Bono down here to share some of the gold. He even takes a turret shot as the spider exploded there and got him some aggro. So it doesn't really work out, as Ixu actually able to trade pretty nicely against Sohan here, even without going for a teleport, struggling a little bit earlier on. So Elise, we talked about this. She's really trying to find some use in this early game, and so far, it has been just kind of laughable.
Yeah, so far, not finding much success, but the bottom lane does have a bit of a CS advantage. You can see she's even late now to get to the left-hand side of the map, and it's mostly because what the hell is she doing in this team composition? You can see she's trying to run around, she's trying to make things happen. Azir doesn't care, Gangplank doesn't care. They would just rather have a jungler when it hits the 15-minute mark rather than a cocoon factory, so...
Factory? She doesn't produce that many LS. I mean, she's only got one per, what, like 12 seconds? It's not great.
That's all that she's going to be good for in the later stages of this game. Is just going to be snaring up targets, trying to change CC them. And Gangplank, he started with the Sapphire Crystal, didn't opt to do any sort of a cheater recall, definitely lost opportunity. Ends up backing now into a Cull and a Sheen, so he'll be fine as he comes back into the lane now. And meanwhile, mid lane is just sort of playing ping pong. 12 CS advantage right now for Kuro.
Yeah, against the melee champion that is Echo. Of course, in the early stages, before he gets enough AP to double Q the waves to clear them, he is going to struggle a bit up against Azir and take a lot of poke damage. You can see he already had to go back, TP back into lane, as did the Azir, but it's not going to be fun for him by any means, and Kuro's really trying to press the issue here with as much harassment as possible. The Warren up in the top side also struggling a bit with the amount of poke that the Gangplank can do, but at least he still has his teleport, and he's not too far behind on CS as he picks up this wave. So all fine and dandy for the side of Bjorn.
Everything else going super standard. KT now with the priority down in bot lane, rotating here towards the Infernal. This is a really good pickup. Ideally, whether you're a KT fan or not, we are looking for a Cloud Dragon to come up next.
Yeah, let's see it.
There
we go.
So we do have an exciting soul on our hands in this game.
We'll be mountain or ocean in this one. And
yeah. Bono, yeah, I like that. That was the good cast synergy right there. You like that? The ping pong.
We're on the same page, yeah.
We really are. Bono now down in bot lane. Trying to...
You can't both read the same line of the script at the same time. Like, that's not the way it works. You read your lines and I'll read mine.
Oh, there's the cocoon. Does end up hitting, but not finding all that much success with it.
Yeah. She's not really killing anything, but at least she's putting good pressure on the lanes. She has made it difficult for the Ezreal Taric, of course, down here. Nice amount of poke damage coming out from Hybrid, but the lane is still going to be ruled and winning here by aiming and Tucson.
Well, Tushin and
back.
Yeah. Tushin and aiming, backing up right now. They might have this, though.
Oh, they're going for it. Secret, he's in a lot of trouble. Has to flash forward and just gets rended to death. And level 6 is here. The knockup will go down onto Hybrid. Do they have the damage as Tucson is going to tank this up? Yes, they do. The double kill will happen down here in the bottom lane. Both of them given to Aiming. As a gank in the top side, or an ultimate coming out here, Sohan is screwed. Is going to immediately go down, but a bit of a debacle by the APK bottom lane, trying to force that fight and just getting stood up, essentially, by Aiming and Tushin.
And Aiming and Tushin, I mean, they have 5 turret plates on them down here in the bot lane. The Kalista is so big right now. And fortunately for APK, they did manage to try to get an edge on the other side of the map. They managed to kill Sohan. They're going to end up picking up the Rift Herald. That was the most peculiar series of events down in bot lane. And now one of the questions is, what is APK going to do when Hybrid is so far behind? Although you can see here that they're going to rotate up to top lane. They might actually be able to get all of these plates. You can see Echo even moving onto the left-hand side of the map. I'm not sure if Hybrid is going to be able to get this last turret plate and ultimately the turret. Doesn't seem so. Kalista almost has the Blade of the Ruin King. And now Sohan is in a... Yeah, we got them, by the way. They said nice. Go slow. We got them too. Do you have E? And that was pretty much it. So replay up here in top lane. As Sohan not long for the wall. And that one?
Yeah, he got blown up. Mostly by Ixu to start it off, so not really respecting the gank potential from that lane. We were talking a lot about KT's gank potential with the Elise, but of course Ornn and Trundle will have a field day up in the top side. But the rotation does come in, as you were mentioning, so now we got bot lanes up in the top side, the plates from the Rift Herald helping out a little bit to stem the tide of how far ahead KT is, but it's not really going to save them. As you can see, Aiming just essentially going 1v2 up in the top, and not much that Secret and Hybrid can do, so definitely they can unlock Tushin now to get some vision down, to be out on the map, and to help out his team in a different way. And even give solo XP over to Aiming so he can get some more levels, and it's gonna be a fun time from here for sure.
Aiming is level 8.5, oh, maybe even 8.6, about to be level 9 after this cannon wave. Hybrid just dinged 7. So Hybrid is so far behind this game, it's just not even funny. As Aiming looking to get even more turret plates right now. They're going to get yet another one. So that's going to be 6. This is about to be 7. Ornn is here.
They do have the follow-up engage here. Bono is just going to flash the wall,
Subjugate?
has the repel, and the Subjugate is, in fact, going to finish him off there. So the trade of kills, at the end of the day, it is just the support that does go down. And just that little rotation by APK is going to give a bit of space to Hybrid that he desperately needs at this point in the game.
Well, Spirit could have found a way to live there. He still did have his hard ultimate up. And it looks like also APK was anticipating this as a possibility. That's why Ornn and Trundle were rotating. What?
You said Spirit. I think you meant Secret.
Oh, did I say Spirit?
Yeah, you said Spirit. I was like, wait, what? I looked at the junglers.
Lost
I'm like,
speech.
wait, no, Afrika's not even. They're not even playing right now.
Lost speech is all that I have to say on that one. Okay, so
lacking Spirit.
Yeah, that is that APK doesn't have Spirit. Can't confirm that. It's not on the team. Aiming and Tushin now in mid lane, looking to get another turret plate.
Aiming is going nuts here. That was so close. He was nearly going to die. He had heal, though. I don't know. It would have been close. But
he would have had to have
really
used the
wanted
heal.
it. Yeah, absolutely. That last turret did come out, the turret shot. Well, styling a little bit, you know? He's feeling it. You can tell.
So at this point, Nashor's Tooth almost completed for the Azir in mid lane. It's locked at about a 2,000 gold lead. KT, they've picked up a Cloud Dragon now as well. And that means that Ocean Soul is on the menu. And the thing that is so scary and problematic, if you are an APK fan here, is that the Ezreal is just so far behind, and he's such a core piece to the team composition. Ornn's doing just fine. Cover, looking for the kill onto Bono, not going to end up managing to find it. And now we're going to start to have ping-ponging inside of the lane. So Forbidden Love might be coming back here soon.
Yeah, the return of the Forbidden podcast that ends up coming. We had a pause yesterday. We had a couple of pauses, but we were able to get through them relatively quickly. But we had a fun time on the Forbidden Love podcast.
We did. Yeah. I think that it was definitely. I would give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I would rate it and try to get it to new and noteworthy.
Oh, okay.
In fact, yeah, that's what I would try to do.
That sounds really good. Wow, awesome. Thank you, Valdez.
Yeah. So, when's the next episode of the pod stake coming out?
It's already supposed to be out, but I believe because the YouTube channel was down, it couldn't be posted.
Aww.
So perhaps it'll get posted tonight. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I heard the YouTube was fixed now.
It is already out on the other websites like Spotify and whatnot, but the video format is not out. It had Wadded as a guest.
Ooh.
We get to talk about the problems in Korea as well as drafts and things like that going on. That was interesting.
That sounds like a fun episode, actually. I'm definitely going to check that one out. Not biased at all, of course.
Yeah,
no,
check
no
your
bias.
PayPal.
Yeah.
Check the.
How many more words do I have to say about it to to receive the overtime bonus?
Not many, Valdez. Not many.
Hashtag ad. Oh man,
Meanwhile,
this is we have
is a
2.5
thing.
minutes to go actually.
Yeah, we 2.5 minutes. It sort of feels like when you're commuting somewhere, we're just sort of waiting for the action to start. Cover could have just taken that wave and tried to do like a small freeze that would then turn into a slow push. It would have been a lot better.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We don't say that word. You know, interestingly, I was live viewing LEC last night, and we saw a slow push freeze almost happening. I think for the first time, and it was good. It was very nice to see. They lost the game about 45 seconds later, but we're not going to talk about that.
You know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what that means. Freezing must be bad.
Exactly.
Yep. That's what lost him the game. In fact, because he was freezing the lane, he wasn't in position to defend. That must have been it.
Actually, he broke
Sounds
the freeze.
right?
Yeah, to go over as... Okay. 3,000 gold lead right now for KT. They're constantly continuing to play ping pong. The Azir and even the Kalista for now doesn't really mind this, nor does the Gangplank. He also did manage to complete his pull. And we're just waiting for the next team fight to break out. We got a fight though in top.
Oh boy, Cover is really trying to push the issue, but the Sun Turret is helping out a little bit too much. Perhaps more than he expected, but he does once again get that ultimate out of Kuro. So we're seeing time and time again these one-on-ones going the way of Cover, who has had a pretty good game so far, even though there hasn't been too much action. He's still 0-0-0 on the map. As you talked about a 3,000 gold lead, all of it is in the bot lane. I looked at all the other roles. Everybody's pretty much even outside of that. Aiming is 2k ahead, and Tucson is 1k ahead of Secret. And it's really just, the assists and the extra gold he was able to pick up along the way for that support role. And it's really just all the turret plates as well. It's really just all in the bottom. And that's it.
Well, this Kalista is going to be really scary to handle inside of the team fight. They do have the gears to hold her down. Also, Ixu will have exhaust for this team fight, so that's going to be really valuable. Azir's ultimate is back up again. He does have a boatload of CDR, and also remember, he does have the one Cloud Dragon available to him as well. Now, here's what I want to see this game, Valdez. I want to see a 4-stack Ocean Dragon on APK. I would like to just see the Echo or the Trundle or the Ornn even attempt to die, if that would end up happening. So APK actually pick up the first Ocean Dragon. They're still 15 minutes away from being able to get to the Ocean Soul, but they do have a lot of wave clear with the Echo. They have lots of ways to slow down the game. Now, KT, however, have an insane Baron taking potential. With that Kalista, with that Azir, cover, getting a turret down.
Oh boy, Secret going to get ulted here again. Will we see Cosmic Radiance this time around is what I want to see. Doesn't actually go for it. Goes for the knock-up here, does Ixu, as there is that Taric ultimate, but stopwatch. One little item going to counter it there, as the Cannon Barrage is doing insane damage in that backline. Does end up taking out Ornn as cover. He was nowhere to be seen. He was in the bot lane.
He was in the bot lane, and he was getting a lot of minion waves, as well as one of the turrets, as the Azir does end up coming in there via the teleport. Flawless is going to have that red buff actually stolen away from him. And at the end of it, it's not the end of the world for APK. They hang on to everything. Cover was not in this fight. If Echo was here, things look a lot different. Now, also if Echo's here, KT's not taking the fight in this manner. So you do have to remember that. So take a look at aiming. He was holding on to Tushin for so long. And the Gangplank ultimate, really good angle. They could have let Hybrid just clean up the Thresh, but they sort of grouped up, and it allowed for a little bit of blowback by KT inside of that team fight. Aiming is absolutely massive in this game. Going to be going Bloodthirster as his third item. Trinity Force and Muramana already completed on the Ezreal. Lichbane going to be the second item for cover in this game, who still does not have an XP advantage or anything. Super sizable. Ixu did ding 13, so the ornaments have come in for him. Soon he's going to start bestowing his lovely gift of a champion onto his teammates. Trinity Fusion will come out onto the Ezreal. That'll help mitigate some of the advantage that aiming has over him. Hybrid's almost caught up, I think, in the XP department. Okay, Flawless.
Man. Okay. Tried to interrupt the Lantern. I like the idea, but basically you can't get near aiming in a one-on-one. He is just going to own you, so don't try it, is what he's saying. And I feel like as this game comes along and Hybrid, or rather aiming gets stronger and stronger with Hybrid behind, I feel like a much greater importance does go to cover for assassinating. And speaking of which, he's trying to do it here, but immediately a couple of members are right behind him. Aiming is on top of him. He has to go for that stopwatch, and I don't think he's going to be in a good spot here as he immediately gets rendered to death. The caster curse is real. I was calling for cover to be the one to take out that backline. Ends up kind of just going in alone 1v4, gets caught out there, and now with that insane Baron taking potential you were talking about, they are looking at the Baron. They're not going to go for it just yet. Soan actually is losing a fight down here.
Yeah, I think Ixu could have chased, interestingly enough. I believe that he would end up killing... Well, you know, I'm not even going to bother because he's not even on the same screen anymore. So, a bit futile to talk about it. But nonetheless, APK continuing to just be very defensive. I think they're down about 4,500 gold right now. And take a look at this cover. He goes in. He doesn't have the damage that he would need, and ends up getting flanked on by Tushin and aiming. Ends up being a really big pickup for them. As, take a look at how this transpires. So, Ixu missed his Ornn E again. He's missed that actually quite a few times now in basic combos. Bramble Vest was completed on him. That'll actually be really valuable inside of the team fight. Perhaps we'll see aiming way later on into the game sell the rune on Hurricane so not to accidentally hit the Ornn and get the Grievous wounds applied to him. As my stream did just die.
Oh, lost stream again. Not the first time we've had this today. And yeah, they're going to just look down this Ocean Drake, stare into its soul, and rend its heart. It's good Ballista. Kind of cool the way they did that. Very fast take, though, of the Ocean Drake, and now they're on Soul Point as a team. APK were able to sneak it last time because KT were willing to give one away for the gold advantage. As now, Ixu going to get knocked up here. We do have a TP with some damage coming out, but a lot of it is missing here. Cover not quite able to land it. Sohan in a really awkward spot. They do not have that pillar, though. They have to back away as KT say, we've got aiming, and we will zone you with that one Fed champion.
And so the Ornn ultimate shot was really peculiar where they intended to aim it. We'll take a look at it in the replay, but things are really looking rough here for APK in this game number 2. Hybrid just not having the same level of influence here as in game number 1. Does have the Trinity Fuse complete, going for the Blade of the Ruin King as the next item. And no other ornaments really on the menu as...
Go. Ballista's mid, and I think that means that APK is assuming that they wouldn't go for the Baron. But at this point, you got to know it's going down, and, well, down it will go indeed. APK don't even look at it as they react a little bit too slowly to that one. I suppose the Callista in the mid lane tricked them a bit.
So the Callista staying mid is really the deceptive factor because APK is thinking that, well, Callista is so integral to the Baron capture. If she's mid lane, they're probably just resetting with other units, but now in doing so, they get so much free gold, they get so much XP, aiming back to being up 2 levels plus on the Ezreal. Ixu also down a level to the Gangplank, who's about to complete his 3rd item. And it's really looking like KT, they're just going to sail to victory, I believe, in this game. They're up 8,000 gold now. They have Ocean Soul coming up in 2.5 minutes. And barring some super catastrophic team fight where aiming just goes down super early on, I can't imagine a world where APK should ever be able to salvage this game. Now, on the flip side, aiming is being really greedy. No QSS again for either the Taric stun or the Echo stun, which does just leave me sort of scratching my head as to why he doesn't need any excess damage. He's already so unnaturally fed.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot before, where if you're really far ahead in a game, it actually benefits you more to get defensive items rather than offensive ones, because you're already doing so much damage and you're up on levels and all that good stuff, that just staying alive will be the biggest priority to there. Cover, not sure about jumping straight into the soldiers, but he was trying to go for a bait, actually. We got 2 members of KT over here with a fast transition out of KT. It's going to come out here. Flawless will be invulnerable, but they're still just trying to run away. A secret is going to be thrown into the enemies and just left to the hounds, basically. As down he will go, and APK at least, they will back away, but KT are absolutely looking to take at least 2 inhibitors from here.
Well, so on down there in bot lane, shoving in the wave, aiming. Coming over yet again, rending the Ornn. Nice play by Tushin. And I don't know why Ixu... His Ornn ultimates have always been the complete opposite of what I'm thinking he's going to go for with the second R activation. Ends up not really being able to do anything. I mean, this is just the end of the game. They're slowly marching forward into APK's base. APK is probably going to make one last stand. They don't even have the Taric ultimate back up and available again yet. Nexus turret poised to fall here in just a couple of seconds.
with the TP coming in, they will absolutely look to end the game. This is an Azir with the Banshee's Veil just chipping away at Ixu. And they do have a bunch of these super minions coming in. See the Lantern? Looks like they do want to disengage. I think they could have just ended it, but they want to play it safe. The Ocean Soul coming up here, and they'll say, well, no reason to risk it. We can just, you know, if they get the Ocean Soul, they're absolutely going to win this game. So no doubt that's the objective they want to take and sail to the victory with.
They get the Ocean Soul. That might be all that she wrote, as there's no form of Grievous. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Executioners was picked up on Ezreal, but it just doesn't matter. They're way too far behind. Base levels, in addition to gold, it is over a 10,000 gold, 10,500. You factor in the Infernal Dragon as well, and that's just so many free stats also not being accounted for necessarily just in terms of the items. So on, pushing in one final wave. He just needs to wait for his entire team to join with him. They have double super minions in every single lane. And APK, they don't have any wave clear for this.
Yeah, it's pretty much Echo, and that's about it. And now with all the super minions that you did mention, it's not going to be fun unless someone on the side of KT runs straight into the enemy team and decides, you know, take me with you. So we'll have to wait and see if that actually does happen. Huge burst damage already coming out of Kuro here. Secret just barely going to survive. The ultimate actually turning into a defensive ultimate. Cover in the back line is able to take out the spider, but that is about it, as the rest of KT are going to survive. They'll be looking for the kill in the fountain. We'll see if they actually do go for this dive. Yes, they absolutely will, but stopwatch, pretty good item to pick up there at the last second, as down will go the Nexus. GG KT bring this into a 3-game series.
Yeah, 3-game series is going to be on the table for the first match. We knew this coming into today, that a lot of these series could all go 2-3 games. So no surprise that the first one is going to go the distance here. APK, their draft was good, but the bottom lane, it fell so far behind early. And with Ezreal being such a centerpiece to the team composition all around, being down 2 levels, I believe level 6 to 8 was one of the, or was like 6 to almost 9. And then they both leveled up. So Kalista, I think she had 7 plates inside of her this game, which is just super unholy. And APK could never manage to get any footing. And even though the Elise pick didn't really do anything this game, she sort of ran around, created some pressure. Not a whole lot of stuff happening. It was mostly just bot lane kingdom, Azir winning lane in terms of the CS department, but Soan and Kuro were both basically non-factors in the overall contributing win. It was just bot lane gap.
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect example of bot lane difference. This is, you know, generally you never see 2-on-2 double kills unless it's like one, unless I suppose it's a matchup like this, as Secret essentially just ran straight into it. And I mean, we talked about how good Hybrid is and how many stats he's got. He kind of gets baited into this one, unfortunately, by Secret, who hasn't been having a great couple of last games, and I think needs to pick it up to support his insanely good AD carry. As long as they don't die there and things just go even, I think APK could absolutely have had a much better shot at actually winning this game. So it's definitely unfortunate that it turned out the way it did, as a lot of these fights ended up happening. This is the one where APK actually got the closest.
Yeah,
but
this is where cover
wasn't enough at the end.
Down in bot lane, Cosmic Radiance came out really late. Secret has, honestly, this is 2 games in a row that he's been very off. If you remember game number 1, he made a lot of questionable decisions. This time around as well, he was the initiator, and some of the things that just ended up going completely in the opposite direction that APK could have wanted. So definitely a bit peculiar. We'll see if APK actually makes any sort of a substitution for game number 3.
Poor Secret, man. He just gets bopped straight into Kuro. At that point, I suppose he was getting used to dying, as that's mostly what happened for him on the Taric. You were talking about in the draft, by the way, Kalista was the first pick for KT, and then immediately APK responded with Trundle Taric. And the Trundle, you know, okay, Flawless is playing a pretty good Trundle nowadays. But then the Taric, I don't know, Secret just did not look very comfortable on that champion, and it was kind of a takeaway pick for the Kalista Taric bot lane. And, well, 800 damage, that's going to certainly help tell the story of what exactly did happen in that bot lane.
Yep, Taric wasn't able to really help out with anything. The game never got to the point where they would have realistic team fights. Because the Kalista was so big, the Thresh even was very big as well. Don't forget the Tushen was sharing a lot of the turret platings with aiming. And we'll see what the draft has in store for us in game number 3. I don't think that Kalista can get through again. Thought that was very peculiar. We'll see what's on the menu when we come back.
We're going to be back, guys. 5 minutes is the break. When we come back, game number 3.